Hello, I'm TheZOMBIEJ, and it's time for another HD video. It's not a rant video, but we are going to be talking about something a bit, well, I think we've all experienced this over the years, and that is broken parts. Lego's plastic is the stuff of legend. Their plastic, there's ABS plastic, obviously. And then there's polypropylene, and then there's polycarbonate, and who knows what else they make. They use, whatever. They've done a lot of different things over the years with plastic parts. Kanoe masks started out as ABS, and then they transitioned that to polypropylene, because it's softer. I was wondering why those polypropylene parts I've had in plastic fucking drawers were easy to cut. That's bullshit. When it comes to broken parts, I've had sockets break. I've had parts break where they're at the axle point. I've even had parts break, like, you remember that one Hero Factory blade piece that is in gold that comes on Skyrox? Yeah, I had that, like, break at one point. And of course, on my IKEA Creature Fire set, I've had, you know, the one tail part broke off. It was polypropylene, so it was easier to break. That was during the move, though, obviously, because... yeah, so... plastic Lego parts, you know, they're not really that sustainable. They are, they're still trying to figure out their plastic shit. But it really is taking quite a long time, and parts are still breaking. Even the new socket, the socket that is, the new CCBS socket that is currently in production, even that is prone to breakage. What the fuck? So, they can't figure out this plastic shit by their goal year of 2030. Because there's no way they're going to be able to solve this by the time, you know, by the point that they need to, you know? There's always going to be parts breaking, and there's always going to be people pissed off of their parts breaking. So, yeah, that's just part of life. Get over it. So, I've had loads of sockets break. There are some sockets that won't break. What pisses me off is that I've had to replace sockets on my Toa Nuva, on my Toa Mata up there. And it's annoying because every socket I try to find, the axle part, I don't have an example nearby, so fuck. The one axle point where you plug into the axle that's supposed to be connected to the hip of a Toa Mata, well, it's broken. So, it's a pain in the ass to deal with, honestly. I've had weapons break easily too, and this doesn't really count, but I've cut up weapons as well. I've cut up masks. They're really easy to fucking just destroy. When it comes to the ABS parts with CCBS, I remember cutting some CCBS parts with my knife. This thing, camo knife, had it since 2010 or 2009. And it would take quite a bit of force to cut up a plastic torso piece in order to get the form of the figure that I want to build. But I shouldn't have to apply that much force in order to get the piece that I want. Hell, remember when Ah, fuck. Well, I remember I did a video last year or the year before talking about a piece that doesn't exist, but it needs to exist. It is in my parts analysis playlist. You can go find that video. But it's talking about a cross-shaped or X-shaped, I guess sometimes. I had to cut up an Ica torso in order to get that. It was not fun. It was a pain in the dick to do that, so... but that is a piece that needs to exist, and go watch that video. It's in black and white, but I don't fucking care. I don't have the right software to turn those videos into color, so... And I'm not going to re-record those, because fuck that. Parts breaking, and broken parts in general, is a real pain in the ass. And other parts as well. But sometimes you gotta work with what you got. And so I made do with parts that I had. I was able to get around the broken parts and use them for upper legs. Like for example, like with the Mystica and Fantoka, you know, the upper leg, upper arms. Well, sometimes that this part would be broken, so I would add a normal socket that's that size on top of that, and then cap it with some axles and lift arms. I'm not the only one to do that, but it's possible. It's easy. It's not that hard at all. But yeah, broken parts, they tend to vary, and parts can break in various locations, which pisses me off to no end, because hell, when it came to finding the parts to build this Mahi, little tiny goat thing, yeah, this really pisses me off because I kept running to, yeah, see, I would find sockets that were perfectly fine, that work perfectly fine as they should, but the problem is that I still run into sockets that are loose, because those sockets have to expand in order for the ball joint to be in there. Yeah, go over there, Mahi. And that is a pain in the dick. Now, when it comes to CCBS parts, I've had plenty of those break, trust me. On my Aquagon set, the original neck for him was broken, so I had to replace it with a black piece, because I didn't have any of the any more of the yellow ones. I only had 5 of those, and I still have the other 4. One of them's broken, but it's just cracked. It still works, so what the fuck. I've had fist pieces break. I've had limbs break. I've had the Toa Master, well, G2 heads in general, break at the socket. Yeah. I've even had the generic CCBS foot break. In order to get certain things to work properly, I'd had to cut the feet in order to, well, cut off that front half because it was useless. And I would just have the rest of that little stub with the 3 pinholes, the socket, and yeah. I could put that onto a Baraka foot, and there you go. Obviously you can build on top of that, but I shouldn't have to do that. You know, obviously there are plenty of talented individuals out there that can make 3D printed models of parts that we wish we had, but we don't. The Ben 10 feet, for example, someone did that, and that was pretty fucking cool. So yeah, can it be done with everything? You have to find out. But it would be nice to get a variant of the generic Hero Factory or Brain Attack CCBS foot. That's been used on everything, trust me. It would be nice to get that piece that that didn't have that front half, but had the back half, and you can expand upon that. That would be cool. I've also had Beast Feet break from my Onua Master set. In fact, he still has a broken foot, or at the ankle joint, and that sucks. So I'm gonna have to replace that too. So far, he's holding up though. He's not falling over, so that's good. I've had, oh yeah, when it comes to polypropylene pieces, I've had, you know those things that are on Lewa Master's shoulders and on his back too? Well, I've had that break at the axle point. The axle point on the G2 weapons was bullshit. There was a little bit of skimmed plastic right there where it meets the part that goes to the blade. Lego, what'd you do? So, it really is a pain in the ass. And, you know, when it comes to masks, obviously I've had masks break too. Like I remember having to, okay, so I had a Furno brain attack helmet that I put pressure on, and it created stress marks on the thing, and folded it out to where it looks like a weapon of some sort. That was a failed experiment, and it sucked too. So, ended up not using the piece as a result. In order to get a mock that I once built years ago, a few years ago, I don't know, to actually work with the chest armor, I had to cut off the two sides of the chest armor, those things that sprung out for the 2.0 chest armor. I had to cut those off, and now I regret doing that. I have a massive regret when it comes to cutting up parts, because now I can't use those parts for official sets ever again. Yeah, I hate that. It really sucks. I shouldn't be cutting up my parts anyway, but it was necessary to get the look that I was going for. And for my Toa Electro mock, when it came to the swords, I had Tahu Master swords. I had a couple extra of those, so I cut them up. And they looked kind of cool in that form. But then they were unusable if I wanted to rebuild that second Tahu I had, but whatever. Yes. So, sockets tend to break a lot. When in 2008, when we got the 08 sockets, it took forever for Lego to address those. Longer than they did with the lime joints from 2007. And yeah, the 08 sockets suck ass. Seriously, the 08 sockets are bullshit. Lego, don't ever do that again. Well, luckily they replaced them with the CCBS sockets, which are much better, but they were still prone to breaking. That's the problem. You can't escape breaking a fucking socket or whatever. It's impossible. I mean, the current socket is even prone to breakage. I haven't had experience with that part myself, but I guarantee it'll be prone to breaking as well. So if you put enough stress on it, if you use it enough times, guaranteed it will break. It also looks kind of goofy with the its current look, I guess, on the side portions of the socket. I've had system parts break too. Yeah, you remember that Toa Tahu buildable little thing? Yeah, some parts on that were cracked. Even parts on this are starting to show cracks. So this is a pencil thing I made. Got it somewhere. Don't remember where. Probably the same event that I got that pumpkin thing too. I showed off in a video earlier. So now I've also had Toamata torsos break, but at the back portion where the back gear is supposed to go into. So, you know, that would break off for whatever reason. And I do remember I thought I had a Mata torso where the two halves of the torso was split. And yeah, the toy is dead, so yeah. Broken parts really draw my piss to a boil, because it really is a pain in the ass to have to deal with broken parts. I throw them away whenever I can, because that's less parts that are in my repertoire, but or that are in my plastic fucking drawers to work with. I don't mock make anymore. Maybe I should, but yeah. So if you can tolerate broken parts and can find a use for them, like kit bashing, for example, that's a rabbit hole that you should not go down, but it is a thing that people have done. They've taken masks and they've kit bashed them together and make them look kind of silly and kind of cool at points too, but let's be honest, kit bashing parts together is kind of wrong. I mean, I'm not skilled enough to do that myself, so I don't know. But I've seen some crafty stuff out there. There are some crafty individuals that are able to kit bash parts together and do so rather well. There were some masks that were pretty well done that you could probably just model on Blender or whatever and 3D print or resin cast, whatever, because that's a thing too. So, but yeah. I've also, when it comes to canisters, I've had a Toamata canister, like I cut up a Toamata canister, which I regret doing that, and that sucked. I remember I found a couple of Liwamata masks, one in green and one in silver. I destroyed them. Yeah, I hate myself for destroying those masks when I could have used them. Especially the silver one. The silver one was probably not the cheapest mask to find in terms of the silver grade masks, but whatever. So when it comes to broken parts, you gotta be wary about what you do with the broken parts. You gotta be careful with how much stress you put the parts under. Because I've had axles that were broken too. Yeah. Length axles, I've cut some in half too. Yeah. I've cut axles in half. A 12 length axle, or a 10 length axle, or a 6 length axle. Yeah. I've cut axles in half. Fuck off. And I'm not proud of myself for doing that, because it really, cutting up parts just makes a Machus look bad, but I was going for certain looks and certain structure for a Mach, and it really was, it's legendary how much I destroyed so many fucking parts to get a Mach to be the way I want it to be. So, and what do you think about broken parts? Do you find use in broken parts nowadays? Use that you can't find with not broken parts? Let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, so I'll be back tomorrow with another video or two, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'm TheZOMBIEJ. I'll see you folks there. Have a good fucking day, and peace.